Peace. Peace. Peace, 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 peace. I love saying peace, man. I love peace, man. And I also love poems and passion. And that's where we at right now, man. Welcome, man. Welcome to this world, man. We got a beautiful show today. We got a guest, man. He's like a brother to me, man. I'm really glad to have him up here, man. Powerful poet. You know, the living legend, Michael Bonds from Boston. You know, and I know he got some jewels for us, man. So I've been looking forward to this show all week, man. And as usual, normal fashion, normal poetic fashion. Um, let's start it off with a light poem, with a poem, you know. So I'm pulling this one out of the archive. So it's called Willie Lynch Himself. Or will he lynch himself? Willie Lynch himself. That's the name of this poem. I woke up in a world that didn't want me. So generations ago, they bought me. Overseas, then someone bought me. From the auction block to the cell block, them chains still haunt me. I woke up in a school that never taught me. I had some issues that screamed for attention, not detention, but faculty without the C spells faulty. And I'm in someone else's dream. I woke up when Willie got lynched in Ferguson. See, he wasn't the first one, since Willie Lynch wrote that letter on how to make slavery better, to rip the father out the home. And to this day, Papa is a rolling stone to pin the light skin against the dark. And I keep waking up before the Red Sea parts, and we're just actors in a part. So Russell Crowe stars in Noah's Ark, and Tyler Perry gives sermons in a dress redefining black art, while Willie got lynched for walking through the wrong park. And if Willie Lynch, will he lynch himself? Willie don't even see the doctor about his health. Will he tell for a slice of that warm apple pie, staring in starvation's empty eyes? Will that noose lead to child abuse? Do we still beat the devil out our youth? Trayvon Martin got lynched in front of the whole plantation, this nation. Willie Lynch told them to take the strongest, wildest man and publicly lynch him so the plantation understands a fear that lasts thousands of years. Their tears bled to God. See, last night Willie got lynched on Whaley and the Boulevard. See, let them sing the blues as long as the family feuds. Let them rap if they sell each other crack. Nick, knack, patty, whack, give a dog a bone. You might pay a mortgage, but you still don't own. So we work to pay the rent and eat. So we work until we get dizzy, because keeping us busy is being under Satan's yoke. Or Willie's parole gets revoked. Will he tell in that cold cell for a slice of that warm apple pie? Will he cry? In 2 weeks, he went from 2 chains to 2 cheeks. Now his 2 kids are too traumatized to speak. And visiting father through prison window, visiting glass looks more like a movie screen, wishing they wake up and wondering if it was all a dream. I woke up in Washington, D.C., when Martin Luther King had that dream, but in reality, he was cashing a blank check called life and liberty. But the pursuit of happiness was based on nappiness. See, his speech was never titled, I Have a Dream. It was normalcy, never again. And Mahalia Jackson shouted from the crowd during his speech, Martin, tell them about your dream. And he began to freestyle history. And we forgot that he said if Congress goes back to business as usual, they'd be in tune for a rude awakening. And I still hold that blank check, just like Michael Brown holds a noose on his neck, because sometimes dreams just seem to stay stuck. And the best way to dream is to wake up. Wake up, y'all. Wake up, everybody. That's my new mantra. Wake up, man. And we about to wake up. We about to shake up. We about to assalamu alaikum. We got the warrior in the house today, man. And I want y'all to show some love, man. Give some love for my man, the warrior, man. You know, all the way from Boston, live at 5. Warrior, how you feeling today? Okay, we got a problem with your audio.
I feel absolutely blacknificent, bro.
Yo, blacknificent, man.
Blacknificent, man. For real.
Yes, brother.
Man. How you doing, man? For real, it's good to see you again. I haven't seen you in quite some time, man.
I know, man. Yo, it feels good, man. You know, man, we go back, man, like you peoples to me, man. So like doing the show with you, man, is awesome.
Absolutely, for real, man. I remember I tell that story all the time, man, for real, man, when you pretty much saved me when I was in a bad position.
Oh man.
I was in a messed up position trying to run around and spit this poetry, man, on bad wheels.
Hey, listen, man, you know, like when that happened, like all I felt was like the sense of brotherhood. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like that's all I felt. Like I didn't, it was nothing else, man. And that's a beautiful thing, man, because we've done some things together. Like, you know, you're a big part of my whole Boston experience. I must have been to Boston like 20, 30 times with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, man, look, and you're a big part of my, you know, my Connecticut, man, my Connecticut experience, man. Meeting you, man, was like that was real. It was a real experience. And I think that was the first time we met, right?
Well,
we had seen each other, but we never really.
No.
You tell. All right, yo, bring me back because I'm getting old, man.
I'm bringing you back. I'm gonna bring you back. Please. I'm gonna bring you back. I'm gonna bring you back. I'm gonna bring you black to black, blickety blackout.
Yeah.
Because I met you through Blackout, man. Blackout Arts Collective. We was both members, man.
I remember all that, but I'm thinking, was that pre-Blackout or that was after? That was during.
That was during.
Okay, cool. Because I know that I think I was featured that night, I think I was featured that night. And
yeah.
You don't mind telling the story, right?
No. Oh, wow. No, tell it, brother.
Yeah. So I was featured that night. What was that? Was that New Haven or Bridgeport?
It was I believe it was New Haven.
Okay, I was featured. And that was during that whole era when, you know, we was chasing open mics all over the country, man. Just much everywhere. And I was pretty much addicted to this thing, like for real. I had an old caravan. An old caravan I had bought in Boston for like $700, man. And I used to run that, man, JSUN, man. I used to run that caravan up and down 95, man. New York, Jersey, Philly, just to get on an open mic like number 15. I don't care. I just wanted to spit, and I was during that time. And it just so happens I was featured in New Haven with you guys. And on the way back, my van had conked out. It just gave out. It was the last leg. It just basically told me, look, I don't got no more runs in this for you, man. Look, I can't do it no more. I'm leaving you right here. So I'm stuck. But luckily, it made it to the gas station on 95, one of the McDonald's or whatever the case.
Yeah.
So I called back, and me and JSUN wasn't really tight. He knew me, but like we didn't have it like that, real, man. And I called back, and he was like, "Yo, I'll be there. Just where you at?" You know, I was like, "Yo, man." And I called the tow truck. Tow trucker said it's gonna cost like $1,500, man. Whatever. Jay said, "Yo, you good, man? Take the truck." This is how real JSUN is, yo. JSUN, sight unseen, told the dude, said, "Tow it to your shop, whatever it costs, man. I'll see you in the morning." He said, "Yo, War, you coming with me?" Went to the house, man, for real, man. The dude cooked food, man, and everything. The next morning, man, the dude paid this dude $1,500, man, to fix my van out of his pocket to make sure I got home. Yo, that was one of the realest things I had ever seen at that time, and I never forgot it. I paid him his money back, and he was like, "Yo, listen, don't worry about it. Never sweat it. It was the realest gesture I had seen thus far." You know, so you know, he's forever been my brother ever since, man. This is my brother. This is my brother. Just you know, just because we got some other stories, but
yeah. And I'm gonna get to a couple of them other stories too, man. Cause we're gonna flip the script, man. I would like to set it off with a poem, though, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, what?
Me?
Man, I ain't heard no warrior in a minute, bro.
You want some old? Or you want some?
I want whatever's on your heart.
Let me give you this. We are Black, and we will be that until the ignorance, until distinction is insignificant, until other cultures finally get it. We Black until they digest it and get over it, until they begin to regurgitate what we've been swallowing since Ma'afa circa 1600. We Black. Yo, this is not a poem. I ain't playing. I could care less if you like me after this, where I come from, or if you're feeling how I spit what I'm saying to you, just listen. We Black. Our embryos have been trimestered in hatred, and we've been born suspected of being everything but articulate. At one point, we were white woman rapists, over athletic, naturally talented buffoons, gangs affiliated. We are attributed to with everything negative. We're passive and aggressive, bipolar and schizophrenic, post-traumatic prisoners, stress, all of us related to recidivists, ghetto fabulous advocates of welfare recipients. We suffer from Stockholm syndrome. Face it. We love this place that hates our faces. We are addicted to fast money. We're slow dummies, no smarter than a fifth grader, slicker than a fox, worthy of nothing except a noose, a pine box, lethal injection, life without the possibilities of living. Apparently, we were well deserving of 41, 50, and 100 shots, but it only takes one, for we are all Trayvon, Troy, we're all the rest of them. We are all American political prisoners. We are all the great American prey, the ultimate captive audience. Our predators know us on a first name basis. Our faces have been booked for execution since the day we were born. We've been marked for martyrdom. Our motherland has mourned her lost sons and daughters since the day we was molested by Spanish conquistadors, English gents, French aristocrats, and Portuguese lovers of commerce. We are Mamias, Amadous, Shans, and Oscars, granted. At times, we can't act as if we should be snubbed for awards. Our spit game is real and proper, so our Grammys should be appalled at us. In the voice, man, we sang our Sunday's best for the collection plates, tithes, and offers, but we know Allahu Akbar. And we stay prayed up for better and for good times. We float like butterflies and sting like coerced confessions. We be baby mama dramatic reality shows for Jerry Springer and Maury Povich. Hoes, bitches, thugs, niggas divided and conquered in 8 sections of regentrification. Hood rich Medea scratching tickets, wanna be Oprah Winfrey, so pole we can barely afford the O. And the last art is still on layaway. We get female fingers pointed in the face of our leadership. And the Republic of grown-ass men give us their ass to kiss. And white police with wolves in Zimmerman clothing stock our children with long claws of the law, growing with 9mm and 40 caliber fangs dripping with the blood of so many justified homicides, death penalties, and lynchings. Kanye, this is Craig. That's it. Was that
Wow, that was dope, man. And it's so insightful, man, because yo, it's just like you, bro. Like no one could have wrote that poem but you. Because first of all, your straightforwardness is straight up. And you told him right from the beginning, like, yo, if you don't like this, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, hey, I think, man, I think for a long time, poems written like that have been considered. And I got another poem that I'm conducting called Cliche. I think at one point, and even now, poems on blackness and poems about, you know, blackness or whatever have been considered in this realm like cliche. Everybody got one. So often,
okay,
and you get ready to spit that poem about who we are or what you think we are and what's going on with us. you know, you get those people like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
You know, again, whatever.
Right.
So I got this poem called Cliche, you know. This poem, and it starts out, this poem is cliche as my skin color. So that's the first line.
Woo!
For real. You know?
Woo!
Yeah, so it starts out like that. So when I build on it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's all about, I like to write things like that are conversational and audio movies. I like people to close their eyes sometimes and then envision what I'm saying to them.
I really dig that, bro, because like I've always had this thing, and with some of my poetry, you know, I look at it, you know, like any art, any painting, right? Like this is like my philosophy. Like I should feel like it should be. I should leave something for you to think about. You know what I mean? To kind of decipher it on your own. Like, I want to bring you right to the brink of what I'm saying, but let what I'm saying inspire your thought, you know, provoke thought. Right. And you mentioned conversationalism, you know what I mean? And you wanted to inspire conversation. And I think that's what's needed, bro. Like if we can't give them something to go home and think about and take and hold and build upon, what are we really doing? So I asked you, like, how do you feel about that now? Was that always like your intent for writing, like to be, you know, having, you know, inspire conversation, or did you kind of grow into that?
To be totally honest, great question. I kind of grew into it. You know my story. You know, I was down for a minute. I learned about this poetry thing literally, and I tell it. I had somebody tell me before, stop telling people that you know you were once incarcerated and locked up. And I'm like, hell no. Why not? For real. Because those who have come from where I come from need to see people like myself, man, who have evolved, so to speak. You know, so it's important that they know, you know, your story. You know, if you don't know where you've been, as you don't know where you're going. So that said, I learned the spoken word thing or about poetry, man, for real, man, while behind bars. And for me, it was just a means of saving my life. I just wanted to keep my mind free. I wanted to memorize these pieces because they would shake down my cell and then tear apart my stuff. And now I got to figure out, you know, what I got. So my mind was clicking. So it wasn't even about a conversation for me. It was more or less about, wow, I love this stuff. And then when I came out here, it was just about, I just want to show people what I got. And then, and I was putting things together. It wasn't about a conversation. I just wanted to have, it was just a means of me expressing myself. And then actually it evolved into this thing, like when people started like asking questions and delving into like, you know, the things that I was talking about, it started me, you know, wanting to like, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's get controversial sometimes. You know, that's pretty much it. You know?
Word. And I'm glad you brought that up because like before we were talking a little bit about, you know, that experience we had and you know that we feel the closest with each other, which is beautiful. And part of that whole thing with me, like I kind of felt really close to you, like off the rip. You know what I mean? Now I kind of mentioned, and it's because we came from similar backgrounds.
Absolutely.
And that's what got me, because a lot of poets that I was meeting was straight up like college dudes. You know what I mean? And that wasn't me. You know, when I started doing poetry, I hadn't done a look a day in college. You know what I mean? Or know what it's about. As a matter of fact, that's what made Blackout so appealing to me, because I had been in prison. I'm getting into this poetry. I could say what I need to say, and they had a whole prison, you know, abolitionist forum thing, and that was the main, you know, social issue that Blackout was tackling. So that made it appealing to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, this is it. You know what I mean? And in the process, I became really good friends with Breon Bain,
Yep.
and he kind of introduced us through coming out to the Blackout Boston shows. And so when I met you, it was pretty phenomenal because again, you were the first poet. I was like, oh man, this dude right here. And then like we started having experiences because we would start coming up there on the regular. I don't know if you remember when I was rolling with like the band Totus, and it was a group of Puerto Rican Rastafarians with dreads that played like the Roots.
Oh man, oh that was a long time ago, man. You
see what I'm saying?
Got hair then. You had hair on
your head. Right. And I remember so many experiences. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I put it out there, I was like Boston's living legend. You know, I was talking about you, right?
I appreciate that, man. For real, man. I don't feel like a legend, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, but you know what pulled me in is like, yo, I've been so many places in Boston with you. I remember it had to be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You had me and a couple other folks. I think D Knowledge was with us too. I'm not sure. I think D Knowledge was with us. God bless the dead. And you had us in the middle of Roxbury, like 2, 3 in the morning. We went through the backyard up to the 3rd floor to get some Jamaican food and some fresh made sorrel. And it was the best sorrel I ever had in my life. Yo,
wow.
You know what I mean? On the 3rd floor, Roxbury, 3 in the morning. You banging on the door. Boom, boom.
You crazy, man, for real, man. Hey, y'all. This is the neighborhood, man, for real, man. And yo, listen, Blackout for me, man, was like a saving grace. When I went into Blackout, it was at the Piano Factory in the south end of Boston.
I remember the Piano Factory.
And
living there.
That's a huge part of my life, and a huge part of the activism and the work that I do. It started, I must say, Blackout was a major part of that. And was probably the reason why, it made me an art activist, because my sister saw me just talking to myself. She thought this spoken word was talking to myself, because I was living with her when I came home. And she was like, look, I found this flyer, and the flyer said Blackout at the Piano Factory, in South End. I was like, okay, it was an open mic on Wednesdays. And I went there and I was blown away. So for the first like 3 nights, like 3 Wednesdays, it was every other Wednesday. And for the first 3 Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, I didn't do nothing because I was blown away. I had to be totally honest. I was totally intimidated by the likes of Omekongo Dibinga, the now Dr. Tamer Bryant, or now Dr. Omekongo Dibinga, Okawu. There was who else was there? Omazelli. Man, there was so many there, man. There was so many there. Like, I was blown away. I was like, oh, I'm nothing like them. And so after a while, Tamer said, listen, brother, you've been coming here for a couple of nights. You got to do something. I know you got something in you. I'm like, nah, I don't. I don't have nothing. I was really nervous. I promise you, I was nervous. And it was just a round circle of people. Like, it was a circle. And this was my first experience, like, being able to, because I watched them work. And so a part of me, like, whatever I am in poetry, and I appreciate it, appreciate any accolades. It's a part of them. Each one of them, I kind of got a piece of Omazelli in me, with the enunciation and the bravado, and that he has that deep bass, and that he projects, and he taught me how to project my voice. And Ioka taught me how to have that swing and that that singing type of understanding, for real. Omekongo gave me, Omekongo said, just spit your truth. Omekongo told me, he said, yo, listen, no matter what you do, leave them with power. Just leave them with power. And I still remember that to this day, and then I learned that there was other chapters, and they took me, that was the first time I got paid. I got paid $1,000 to go spit, and I caught the bug. I was like, okay, I can get paid for this. I just wanted to do it for fun, man. It was fun for real. But I love Blackout, man. Blackout gave me a sense of like art activism, man. You know?
Word. And it's funny we got there because you coined the term. You coined the term "act as if."
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard that, I said, "Man, yo, what did he say? Act as if." And I was like, I had already been exposed by that time to some act as ifs.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that for me?
Wow.
What is the act as if? Or
Act as if are people who act as if they are doing something, you know, and when they're really doing nothing. They go into places and when it's suitable for them, when it will look good to them, when they will look good, and you know, act as if they're doing something, but you never really see them boots on the ground in the places that's most needed, that they're most needed. So that's pretty much what it is. So, and you know, we've been around those people. You've been around those people, JSUN, for real, man. You've seen these people, for real, man. You've seen them in poetry venues back in the day. They'll spit a poem about so much consciousness, quote unquote, you know, that you swear, you know, they were down in the trenches, man, for real, man. And I never called anybody out until that point. I just got pissed because I had done so many different things and saw so many different real people like D Moss. D Moss took me to Springfield, man, and said, yo, this is my hood. And D Moss was boots on the ground, like for real, for real. D Moss took me to Springfield, brought me to Springfield. He said, let me show you. And he took me in the roughest places. He showed me some of the roughest dudes, and they gave him mad love, for real, man. He was like, yo, this is me. And then when he came to Roxbury, I showed him the same thing. And you as well. Like, and all these, yo, it was just, so that's pretty much what it is for me, man. I act as if it's just a fake activist, someone who's acting as if they're doing stuff, but they're really not doing anything. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. No doubt. And you know, I just realized something. I'm gonna have to stop calling you a living legend because it's kind of spoiling it for you. It's kind of, you know, spoiling it for you.
Okay.
You know, because you don't need to look at yourself in that light to continue what you're doing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's because it's real. You know what I mean? And that's the vibe I got from you right away, man. I remember we went down to Atlanta, man, and you know, with D Moss actually for that week, man. Did you see those pictures he posted just recently?
Yeah, D Moss and his car was a standard. Nobody could drive a standard but him.
Yeah.
Drove all the way back and was exhausted.
Yes.
Yo, he was pissed. He was tired. He kept driving. Oh man, he was pissed.
Oh man, that's too funny.
But you know what was more significant about that though, JSUN?
Talk to me.
You remember the reason why we went down there, right? I know D remembers. And
for that poetry conference.
Yes. And we were trying to build what? What were we trying
poetryjoint.com and all that. And we would, am I correct?
Yeah, similar. But the main thing was, and D remembers this because D was mad because nothing manifested. Nothing, it never really manifested. We were trying to build a union of poets so that poets could get. We were trying to develop a scale for poets, you know, a scale for poets to get paid. So like they couldn't come to you and say, listen, JSUN, I want to pay you this much. And you can't, and you would say, listen, hold on, I'm a part of a union. You can't get me for that.
Right.
You know? Well, I'm gonna go see if I can go get Warrior. Go ahead. And then they call me. Oh, well, nah, this is the scale. And I think D was really pissed about that because nothing really happened. And then he had to home.
Yeah. And now that you're saying it, it all came back. Because that was quite a while ago, man. You know? And we had poets from everywhere come, man. We had sisters from Toronto. Yep. We had a group from Baltimore. Man, they came from all over, man.
Yeah, and remember when that's when Magic Johnson Starbucks. Remember Magic Johnson? We spit at Magic Johnson Starbucks.
Yep. As soon as we got there,
and they told us we was outside, and they told us not. They told us to tone it down.
Yeah.
And, it was like that's not happening. that's not gonna happen for real. So we
just getting started. You don't know what you got here, but you got you got an earthquake of poetry coming.
Did you go to Miami, South Miami with us?
Nah.
It was the NAAC Youth in College.
I didn't go to that.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of it was similar. It was a youth in college. We had a youth in college performance in Miami, and we had Blackout New Orleans. Tueri, remember too?
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, all of us was on. Yeah, we were on stage, and they did the same thing to us. And there was a bunch of like people there, and it was like, listen, could you just give us the watered down version? And we were standing up on stage, and we all sitting in these chairs, and it was like, hold up. And we looked at each other. It was like, it reminded me of that part in the movie with NWA when they got to say fuck the police, and they looked at each other on stage and they sung it.
Right.
Pretty much what we did. That's pretty much what we did. You know?
Yeah, well, with Blackout was, you know what I mean? Like the whole part of it was just to get our foot in the door and then spit some truth to them, you know?
Absolutely.
And stuff. So, so seeing that we're talking about all that, I heard that you had a new nonprofit. You were working on a nonprofit.
Yes.
Organization. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what that looks like?
Yes. To be totally honest, I've been working on it for years, but I just pulled it back out, and I am legal in the state of Massachusetts, and I'm working on the 501c3 as we speak, bylaws and so on and so forth. It's called the Arts Project, ARTS, a right to succeed, and right is spelled RITE as in a right. And it's dedicated to simply the eradication of black male ignorance and fatherlessness, and self-hatred.
I like it.
Now, whatever,
like a
whole bunch of other stuff that floats around that, but what I've been seeing and what we've all been seeing is, and I've been working in the streets of Boston it's no secret, I've been working in the streets of Boston for quite some time, with at-risk, proven risk being active gang members, returning citizens, people coming home from jail, whatever. That's pretty much just what I do. I've chosen to do that. Some people don't have the stomach for it or the time or attention for it, but like, I just feel like, that's what I do. And being that the case, I've worked for different nonprofit organizations, and I feel like everybody has a piece of what's needed, but I don't have all the answers, but I feel like I have enough experience and skill set that I can put, it all together and pretty much give them what they want, give them what they need. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's about saving my brothers, 15 to 25.
I like that, man. I feel like, wow, black male ignorance. Let me ask you something. What does black male ignorance look like?
Well, first of all, the word ignorance is not a negative word. I don't want anybody to get a negative connotation from that. Ignorance is just a word that simply means not knowing. Okay, so I'm not putting anyone down when I say that. Great question. Black male ignorance is just, a lot of black men just don't know. They, either they weren't given the information, they haven't had the time to get the information, or they've either neglected the information. They just don't know, for real. So black male ignorance is just simple that. There's a lot of things in place available for them, and there's a lot of traps in front of them, and they just don't know. So if we have the information and the people that are going to be a part of this organization have the information they need, we can inform them. And then what they do with it, I wouldn't like to say it's just on them, because I'm going to add there's going to be a mentorship portion to it, and a lifetime mentorship portion of it. Like, I got you in this program, but I'm not just going to be getting funding for you. You can call me anytime. Like, I want to guide you. I want to guide you through this gauntlet that it is, And then because I think the black male image, man, is being beat up.
Yeah, I agree, man. And then like coming from a place where we come from, or I'll just say like, you know, brothers that are coming home from jail, you know what I mean? Like it takes a tremendous amount to really change your life, break the cycle of what you were doing before you went to jail, you know what I mean? And elevate and on a consistent basis, lifelong, to change your life. You know, I want to shout out my boy Paul Jules Watkins, man. He's a brother I know that came home and really been sticking to his guns, man, just been elevating, but not a lot of people could do that, you know? And we need that guidance and we need that mentorship. One thing I've realized is that, you know, we can't be alone in this struggle, man.
Not at all.
And you know, sometimes, man, I feel alone. And that's one of the worst feelings. And that's one of the things that can get me, you know what I mean, riled up or going. But I want to ask you, you know, so I'm digging the whole concept, is what I'm saying. Really. How do you feel that the upliftment of the black man in society can affect society, from the family structure to the black woman and then the society as a whole? How do you see that upliftment of the black male, the you know what I mean?
Oh, you already know the black family, you know, a large majority of the black family has been split, separated, you know, and you know, you already see it. I don't have to explain it. You already see it in different neighborhoods. Just pick one. You know, pick one. Hartford, Boston, New Haven, Chicago, New York, California, whatever. Who are the majority of folks who are in the streets? You know, black males. Black males are dying disproportionately, and you can pick whatever reason you want to. People can blame it on whatever. I don't believe there's such thing as black on black crime, because there's that you know, no one's making a big deal about white on white crime. You know, what it is just, you know, people who are ignorant of themselves and have a sense of self-hatred. You know, if I can pick up a gun and shoot you faster than I can shoot someone else who, you know, did me wrong, who is not of my culture, doesn't look anything like me, for real, man, then there's something wrong. I'm hating that there's something wrong, period. You know what I'm saying?
Very wrong, very wrong.
Right. So if I can do something to add a sense of like self-worth, a sense of understanding who this person is, and who you are. If I could add you, fill you with some knowledge, some the wisdom, and you know, the understanding, not to sound cliche or anything like that, that will help you build yourself, then you already know the method. My method is build myself. I can't help nobody until I build myself. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's true indeed. You know,
family, community.
And you brought up a good point. You know, like a lot of things. You know, it seems like, you know, like you know, so many areas we're just hurting. You know, one of the areas we're hurting in is COVID. Like with COVID, we're, you know, getting proportionately affected more than others. Like, you know, and it has to do a lot with where a lot of the frontline, what is the word for frontline workers? The
essential workers.
Essential workers. Yeah, and the way that like the way we've been structured in to our whole lifestyle. But you just came off of COVID. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. And I have to be totally honest. I took it for granted. You know, I was doubtful. I didn't believe it. Really, I really didn't believe it. I was one of those people saying, listen, I grew up in Roxbury. I used to flip on dirty mattresses for real. We used to play in dumpsters in the weeds and catch grasshoppers. I used to come home muddy, you know, leave rings in the bathtub. Man, I probably, you know, am immune to everything. You know what I'm saying? I probably already had it. I've heard that before from several people. Probably already had it some months ago, whatever the case may be. And then when it hit, it was nothing like anything that I've ever been stricken with. You know, it was nothing like it. You know, my taste buds was gone. I couldn't taste any food whatsoever. I don't have asthma, but I had a little difficulty breathing. Every muscle in my body was aching. The back of my eyeballs was hurting. My toenails was hurting. I couldn't get up. I think I lost about 15, close to 20 pounds. You know, and it took me a long time to, like, you know, just want food again. You know, go ahead.
So in your opinion, like, it's something that you, like, having went through it and felt it, like, you could see it like killing folk. Am I correct?
Yeah. I know some. Well, I don't know personally of people, but I know of friends and colleagues of mine whose family members were lost to this. You know, they lost family members. I don't know about any conspiracies or whatever the case may be. I don't profess to know, you know, where this came from or anything like that. All I know, it was real for me. And when it hits home, it hits home. So that's all I know. There's no treatment for it whatsoever. I couldn't do anything but drink Gatorade, water, and swallow soup, and hopefully, and then take some NyQuil to go to sleep at night and wake up feeling the same way. So it was that way for a couple of weeks.
You know? Glad you're better, man. Glad to have you with us, man. Glad that you're the survivor that you are, man. You know,
thank you so much.
You know, we're needed. You're definitely needed, man. You know, but brothers that are making an impact and working, you know, feet first, hands down in the community, man. You know, I salute you, man.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to hear another poem from you. You know, I feel like I can talk to you for hours, but I really want to hear another piece, if that's all right.
All right, I'm gonna give you a slightly older one. I don't know if you heard it, but I just give you this one because it's off the top of the head. I got some other ones, but I want you to imagine me a martyr. My face is soaked with snot, sweat, and plasma. DharmaAncestry.com is laying out in front of you, slain. Just another macabre American portrait painted with the bullet's brush dipped in Black lives' brain matter. All the nucleotide triplets of DNA and RNA molecules that carry my information have stopped. My genetic code is moot. My body is surrounded by a chalk mark, black boots, blue suit, yellow tape, but no empathy. While a cacophony of unfamiliar faces parade my corpse, I'm Twilight Zone in a galaxy of androids flashing iPhones, tweeting conspiracies about my untimely demise. I'm watching the whole world star in a Snapchat in a concerted effort to make me come alive again on Facebook. This is what I call the Nipsey hustle. Okay. All Illuminati theories aside, and besides all that, the brother Eric Holder told us about the LAPD battery packing his back with the promise of 75 G's. So far as I know, not one police officer has been proven involved in the shooting. Not one bag of Skittles or an iced tea was found at the scene of the crime. The brother had no hoodie on, no wallet or cell phone, was mistaken for a gun. This wasn't a routine driving while a black man stopped him from living situation. The brother had no asthma. No chokehold held his breath until he stopped breathing. Unfortunately, he was killed by one of us. One of those who keep martyring themselves like headshots that just can't wait to happen. They've always been targeted for extinction. They were born on the endangered species list. They grew up to become the probable causes that affect everything. So imagine them. Shots fired at their emotions worn on their sleeve. They got them light-skinned type egos that bruise too easy. Their flesh is a weapon armed with a loaded genitalia, acne, premature facial hair, a permanent 5 o'clock shadow, razor bumps, and goose pimples because they're scared of being scared. So every day they wake up, locked and loaded, drop down on one wounded knee. I call them Kappa niggas. Pledging allegiance to no flag but their own. Just Nipsey hustling every day, Nipsey hustling backwards like moonwalking dead veterans of a war they would never end. Imagine Imagine them resting in peace.
Love it, bro.
That's it, brother.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
Just trying to give the audience a chance to let that set in.
Take
You
your
said a
time.
war. You said a war that never ends. Could you elaborate on that line?
So far, well, you as you know, it's been a never-ending war, for no apparent reason. Where I'm from, there is generational murder beef or murder drama. All right, kids who've grown up, their father, uncle have been killed by people over there. Don't really know what's going on. They just know they got beef. They got war, they got murder drama, for real. So this war continues to go on. And I don't profess to know exactly how to stop a vicious cycle. I just know how to mend some wounds, educate some people on some different ways of resolving conflicts and so on and so forth. And hoping that we can wash away some of the things, man, and stop this perpetual cycle of violence and death amongst us. That's all I can do.
Yeah, but it seems like a perpetual cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Caught up in another perpetual cycle
Mm-hmm.
of a never-ending war, of racism and
Right.
systemic racism that just comes down on us, man.
Mm-hmm.
And keeps that vortex of that cycle of us, just keeps us right in that, man, like a dog chasing his tail or something, man.
But I want to say something to that, and you're right. But I was having a conversation last night with a friend. She was actually getting on a plane, return back, and she mentioned something that was interesting. Although that there is indeed all those systemic racism things and all this stuff that bears down on us. We were talking about some things about, like, okay, if you know, and it goes back to this thing of ignorance and learning knowledge. If you know all this is happening, right, for real, man, if you know all this is happening, why do you continue to put your children in a system, in an educational system where the curriculum has been the same ever since, and it's indoctrinating them into a system? Why do you continue to do that? If you have information about politicians who are on both sides are doing the same thing and have the same agenda, why do you continue to participate in that? Why don't you just govern yourself? So I mean, it's difficult. I'm not suggesting anyone doing any things, but there's just some things that you could just a question,
No, but that's good though. That's good, and it inspires me to think about, well, okay, you're right. But at the same time, I want to put my kids in school so they can get the structure that they need, and then it's like I also think about the Move 9, who set up their own community in Philadelphia,
and were bombed because of it.
Yeah.
And were bombed and destroyed because of it. I mean, anything that doesn't look like what some believe should be is going to be shunned upon. So I'm watering it down. You know what I'm saying? You already know what I'm talking about. If it doesn't look like what some believe it's supposed to be, it's going to be shunned upon, it's going to be ridiculed, and it's going to be targeted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's wrong with educating your children? I mean, what's wrong with wanting to give your children a knowledge of themselves? What's wrong with me wanting to teach my daughter how to shoot a gun, or financial literacy myself, how to start our own business? What's wrong?
Well, why can't we start like our own schools, like homeschooling, but maybe for 10 or 12 kids at a time in somebody's basement down the street? You know what I mean? Now, instead of walking up to the public school, you walk them down the street to Martha's house, and she got everything set up in the basement. 12 computers, 12 this and that, 12. You know what I mean? Everything for the kids, man.
I'm sure there are communities of Black folks who are actually doing that now, but on a larger scale, it's a matter of trust. There's a whole bunch of factors in that, for real, man. They've instilled distrust. I'm not sure it's happening, but it's just a matter of just doing it. We could talk about it all day. We could talk about it all day, but like if it has to start with you, just doing it and then proving that it does indeed work, and then adding on some more people, then so be it. Just telling people what to do. People, a lot, especially Black people, they're not going to be told what to do. Especially if it's coming from a perspective of they don't know what they're talking about or what they're doing. So,
yeah, the trust, and you also talk. You talked about self-hate, man. You really brought up a lot of deep topics, and that's why I'm kind of paying attention to them. Because it's real, and love, man. Like we got to start loving on ourselves, man. It's a fight. It is an ongoing war. You said it's an ongoing, a never-ending war. Like, to end that poem on that line was so powerful to me, and the never-ending war that we got to end ourselves, man. And it ain't just gonna happen overnight, man. But it takes all the elements and fundamentals that have been stripped away from us, man.
I agree. No, I agree with you. Like, it is my opinion. It is my opinion, and I want to preface that. It is my opinion that a lot of what's happening in our neighborhoods is not going to completely end until brothers like ourselves, decide to collectively or individually step up and say, nah, it's not going to be anymore. We have to become fearless. We have to become dedicated, and we have to be consistent. You can't just half-ass it. You can't just come in here saying that I'm gonna be here one day and then I'm gonna go here, whatever, for real, man. You have to be dedicated to cleaning up your block. You got to be dedicated to cleaning up your community. You got to be dedicated to cleaning up your city. And that's pretty much my take on it. Now, everybody can add on to that if you want to, but this is just my take on it. My take is as simple as that. Until we decide that we are tired and we really want to get out here and be fearless and stand up to some dudes, man, it's going to continue, man. It's really going to continue.
Word. So, us, being artists, like you said, the name of your nonprofit is called Arts. It's an acronym. Am I correct?
Yeah, a right to succeed, as in a rite of passage. So the whole thing is basically, Black men are not only volunteering, but they're deciding that they are going to mentor young Black men and give them a rite of passage, as in an African tradition. They're going to teach them whatever trade there is. If you're an engineer, if you are a carpenter, if you are an educator, we're going to find many young men who want to go in these different fields. If you were a doctor or whatever case, you choose to mentor and be a part of this. And you're going to take that young man or young men, for real, man, from one stage of development to the other. And you're going to be there for him throughout his life. You're going to be there for him. You have to, and I know people saying, well, I got sons, I got my own family or whatever, but that's a part of the problem. Because if we only thinking about I got my own family to worry about, then, that old adage, it takes a village to raise a child, it means shit. People say that and quote unquote, that sounds cliche. For real, man. People say that it takes a village to raise a child, but where the village at? The village is made up of a number of people. It's made up of JSUNs, D-Mosses, Qualos, Frederick Douglasses, and the whole nine. It's made up of several different types of us, period. For real, man. You know what I'm saying? And we all have a part to play in it. For real, man. You don't got to spend all your time, but you got to share your time. You got to spread your wealth. You got to spread your understanding and your knowledge, period. You got to be a part of it. You have to really, really be a part of it. And sometimes it's going to mean taking off the suit and tie that we've evolved into, for real, man. Putting on your Timbs or whatever, or your Jordans or your three stripes, man, for real, man. Getting in the community and reminding these young people, I'm still out here, yo. I'm still out here.
Yes.
We have to be chameleons in all this, man, for real, man. We got to be able to, as one of my mentors used to say, you got to be able to articulate in academia, corporate America, and on the block.
And I love it. I was going to ask another question, but I'm not even going to ask it because I realized that the answer has been this entire interview. And I was going to ask you, like, well, where does arts meet activism? But this whole interview, like, if anybody heard this and was paying attention, you hear the arts, the presence in his poetry, the presence in his life, what he does, what he's chosen to do with his life. Like, you hear it. So I don't have to ask him, where does arts meet activism at? If you can't see it, Stephen Wonder can see it right now. You heard me?
Man, I mean, art and activism are one. Look, I'm not one, and I've heard these conversations before. People talk about should art be meaningful in a way that it uplifts or it does something or whatever. Everybody, I don't necessarily believe that everybody is an art activist. I think a lot of people just paint for the sake of painting. They like painting, so they want to paint. They love doing that, for real.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And then there's those visual artists who are trying to say something with their art. There are poets, like ourselves, who feel like our poetry needs to be useful, other than just for an open mic or a book or just to sound good. It must serve a purpose. And then there's other poets, and there are other poets, I'm sure, who just like, look, I just love wordplay. I love the way the poems sound, the way it reads, and so on and so forth. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
What happens is there are people who act as if, and if you're playing, and if that's not what you want to do, don't do that, because I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna say, yo, look, so you said that in your poem. Do you mean that? Because like, I got some young men that want you to come over here, some young people that want you to come over here and, not only share that piece, but I want to participate in whatever it is they're doing, educate them. And if you're not ready to do that, if you're not prepared to do that, then don't give me that. So that's pretty
word. So we're winding down, man. We're coming, to the last couple minutes, man. And I just want the whole audience to know that we do this every Sunday at 5 o'clock. Tune in, support, man. We're building, man. It's a beautiful thing. I'd like to ask you, Warrior, if maybe you take us out with a poem, and also tell us about your upcoming gig tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I have a gig tomorrow with none other than the People's Poet, Brother D, Donnell Singleton. I don't think it's open to the public, but it's a performance for Suffolk University. We'll be sharing, it's a diversity summit of some sort. So he and I will be sharing for a bunch of students and faculty and so on and so forth. I don't think it's, as I said, I don't think it's open to the public, but that's pretty much where we're at. Soon you'll see the Arch Project. Y'all can find me on, just find me, ask JSUN where I'm at. D Moss, love you, bro. For real, keep it up. I heard about your struggle, man. For real, man. If you need me, you already know, just holler at me, for real, man. I ain't got no problem coming through. I don't got broken vans no more, JSUN. I got reliable wheels now, brother.
Yeah, it's all good, bro.
Listen, as I do, man, for real, man. This is my mom. This is my God. All right, that's my mama. And I'm gonna leave y'all on that note, for real, man. A poem about my mom. Her moments made my missing pieces meaningless. Made my meaning less about the moments and more about the piece I was missing in my life. Divinely, she intervened in most all my affairs. My most complicated decisions became Sunday morning easy options after conversing with her. As difficult as it is to explain her in just a few metaphors of spoken word, I endeavor still, because I've learned that immortality exists in my penmanship. And so I've decided to preserve her in my copyrights. Her ink is permanent now. She is legend. Her story is cap-locked and emboldened in Times Ethiopian font. I tunes, Nat King Cole in her favorite ballad. She is unforgettable. Now, I see her as if through an elementary retina, a child's eye, REM sleep, walking through page after page of a coloring book. Her image is creolaed outside the lines of my imagination like a kindergartner's masterpiece. Fruit magnets. Fruit magnets hold her securely to the refrigerator door in my mind. She is unforgettable in every way, and unforgettable is how she'll stay. That's my darling, it's incredible. Someone so unforgettable. My mother thought I was unforgettable too, y'all. Peace and good night.
Peace, peace, peace.
JSUN, it's been a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure, man. We're gonna link up in person, man, as soon as this COVID gets down, man. I can't wait to come up to Boston, man. And with that being said, hey, we got VCR next week.
What? Oh,
yeah.
If all those who are watching who don't know this brother, listen, man, that's my brother. That's my brother, for real, man. He's a fixture in Boston, in this hood, in this city, man, for real, man. He does everything from the Kwanzaa celebrations to poetry. He has the longest running open mic in Roxbury, Boston history. Trust me, that's VCR.
Yeah,
my brother.
Yeah, man. So we're looking forward to building, man. We're looking forward to everything, man.
What's up, brother? I had to pop it on Jay's show just to say what's up to you, bro. I'm in the background watching the video, man. I had to make some runs, and I'm watching it the whole time. So, yo, that's one of the dopest interviews. And again, your commentary extends way, 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 way beyond the poetry. Dude, the jewels you were dropping this past hour, phenomenal. I don't know what else to say. Every time I hear you, it's like the first time I hear you sometimes. And bruh, incredible. So I just had to say thank you, man. I'm blown.
Yo, man. D, we go back, man, for real, man. Man, I'm sleeping on your couch, man, for real, man. And yo, you showed me Springfield like the real Springfield. Like in the streets, for real, man. Y'all, some people may know him for suit and ties and indie soul and all the other stuff, man. But I know him, man, when he was a street worker. He was running the street workers, and he was really in the streets. Like he was for real about this. So whatever he's evolved into, man, for real, man, he still got that core realness, man. And JSUN, man, yo, all you guys, man.
And I'm gonna say one last thing. I gotta say one last thing. That trip to Atlanta,
you remember that, right? You remember that, right?
I almost forgot about why we actually went down there.
I know.
It was a bar, so cats would know how to get compensated across the board. You the first person to bring that up in almost I don't know how long it's been, but I forgot all about that. And you're right, I drove back nonstop, pissed off about that.
Yeah, man, because I couldn't drive stick. I could not drive stick, and I was pissed. So I tried to stay up as much as I can with you, but you pulled D was pissed.
Bro.
D drove all the way back, and we was sitting in the back like, man, could nobody help him, man? We pull over, he go take I was like, man, I can't drive a stick, bro.
Hey, the crazy thing is I could drive a stick, but I drove down in a separate car.
Yeah. Right. We rode with D, and D was like, the back seat was packed. We had, the front seat was packed. I mean, like, I don't know, man. But that's man, for real, man.
We had a great time, man.
Makes for great memories. So I don't want to jump and interrupt the interview. I know y'all closing, bro. I had to just come in and say peace and let you know how much I love this, man. Love you, brothers.
Yeah, love you too, man. Hey, and for those that don't know, that's D Morris. He produces every show, man. He's like, you know what I'm saying, like the grandfather of this show, man. You know.
Right. All right, Grandpa.
Yeah. Hey, but peace and love, man. I love you, man. It's been a great show, man. And those, man, y'all turn in next week for VCR, man. We're gonna keep going, man. And it's all love, man. I hope to see you soon, brother.
All right, peace.